be honest, I don't really know how to start this video, but I guess today is the big day. We're leaving for Mallorca. We're leaving to start the journey. I've said goodbye to everyone, the stuff is packed, so now it's time to get to the airport. So let's go. Alright, so welcome to Mallorca. I arrived at the airport, now I'm waiting for the shuttle that takes me to my rental car company where I can get the car, my rental car. So I'll see you again when I get there, and if you're asking yourself why do I have so many jackets on? Well, basically, simply, I didn't have enough space in my baggage, in my luggage, to put in the extra jacket, so I just put on 2 of them. I've got another one wrapped around my stomach. So I didn't know it was going to be this warm, so I wanted to be prepared for bad weather. That's why I have basically 3 jackets on. See you at the rental car company. Alright guys, so we got the rental car. It's a Hyundai Tucson in the color white. All in all, I paid 260 euros for this. It would have been cheaper if I was a little older. If I was 23 years old, I think I would have paid the normal price. Because I'm 19 years old, I paid 65 bucks extra. And about the tank, I got the car with a full tank. I paid 99 euros for that. And when I return the car with a full tank, I get the money back. So the 99 bucks I get back. Obviously the 60 bucks I don't, because I just drove it as a young driver. But overall, I think 260 bucks is quite alright for 4 full days of renting the car. Basically 5 almost, because I'm returning it 5 days after getting the car. And well, my thought was, the Airbnbs, the apartments here in Mallorca would have cost me at the very least 400 euros, probably more like 500 or 600. This car cost me 260, and the island is made for, you know, going around it, so I would have needed a rental car anyway, basically. Therefore, getting the car and sleeping in it, to me, sounded more reasonable. I don't have a problem sleeping in the car for a couple days. I hope I won't regret it, but I guess you'll see whether I do or not. But I think we'll be just fine. And after that, in Portugal, we're gonna be continuing with normal Airbnbs, maybe hotels. So I'll show you the car for a quick second, and then I think I'm gonna go get something to drink, because I'm really thirsty. The weather is really good. It's really warm, especially in the car. Therefore, I need a cool beverage. Alright guys, so this is the car. The Hyundai Tucson in white. It's got a little bit of damage here, but that's not really a problem. That's basically just aesthetics. But as I've told you in my rental car video, of course I have made a full video on the car, going around it, walking around it, showing each scratch, each problem with the car, so that they can say that basically I have made any damage on the car when I return it, just as a, you know, a fail-safe for me. So without further ado, let's go get something to drink. Alright guys, I've been at the store now, and I've got a couple of beverages and a snack, so I'll show you what I've got. Now the most interesting thing that I got was actually this right here, tangerine juice. Not orange juice, tangerine juice. I don't think I've ever seen this before. It's supposed to be 100% tangerine, so nice thing to have. Then I've got some basic mini cookies. I've also got a Coke Zero and a normal small water. And basically all I've paid for this was 5.80 euros. Overall, I've got a small glance at the prices of a couple of things in the store. I want to do an extra part on the video, or maybe an extra video on overall prices at the grocery store here on Mallorca. But overall, I gotta say, I mean, the beverages, the Coke Zero and all that is basically the same price almost everywhere. But I'd say the groceries are rather cheap, at least in comparison to Austria. But more on that later on in the video. Now let's go get something to eat at a nice spot near Palma. Okay, so I was on my way to Magaluf and Torrenova to find a nice spot to eat something, to eat dinner. And let's say I drifted off a little, drove around a bit, and I found this beautiful place. This nice alley up there. You can see the sea already. I'm gonna walk down here. I hope I can get to a point at the sea where I get a nice overview, a nice view. Yeah, this is exactly what I was looking for. Looking good, looking beautiful. Now would you look at this. Alright, so now that we've seen this, we're gonna continue back to Terranova or Magaluf, and I'm gonna try finding a nice restaurant before I start driving this time, to make sure that I don't drift off once again. Although, you know, this time it wasn't that bad, was it? Alright, so see you at the restaurant. Alright, so after a couple of minutes of driving around, I found a free parking spot. And from here on, it's gonna be about probably 10 minutes by foot to get to the restaurant. Now before getting something to eat, I had to withdraw cash because I didn't have any. And if you've watched one of my past videos, I talked about not branded ATMs, not bank branded ATMs, you know, those standard ATM ones. Here they are usually from Euronet, which are basically, well, not a rip-off, but they have huge fees. So I tried to stick to my rule and outsmart that by going to a bank ATM, which is this one here. Now the thing is, I still paid €2.95, almost €3 transaction fee on this thing, which is wild. Now, because of that, I withdrew a bigger amount so that I probably have enough money for my whole 4 days on Mallorca now, and I don't have to withdraw money again because basically there's no other banks here except this one and the not branded ATMs. But if this one takes €3, I really do not want to know how much the others take. So just something to watch out for. If you find a proper bank, of course, that's the best bet to maybe get 0 transaction fees, or at least the lowest ones. Okay, so for your information, I just tried this bank's ATM, CaixaBank, in the hopes that it would be free of any fees or lower fees. But this one charges $3.25. So far the Santander was the cheapest one. So I guess you'll have to take the L here and pay $3 for the transaction fees. Or maybe you can just bring cash from home, which would probably be the best. Withdraw it at home for free and you can spend it no problem. Alright guys, I just arrived at the restaurant that I was going for. It is located in this beautiful alley that leads right to the beach, right to the sea. This is what I'm talking about, the Turtle Beach restaurant. Let's go have a seat and eat a burger. So after dinner, it's time to find a nice parking spot to spend the night. I think I found something quite nice. It's quite distant, it's near to the coast, I'm facing east, so sunrise should probably wake me. But I'm also not completely alone, there's another camper van here. So, you know, a little bit of safety feeling to not be completely alone in God knows where, basically nowhere. If I opened my windows, I could probably hear the sea, the waves. But I'm not sure I'm gonna do that because of possibly mosquitoes getting in and stinging me. I don't really want to risk that, but maybe I'll do it. I guess I'll decide and let you know in the morning. But for now, I'm gonna start cutting the video and then I'll go to sleep. So see you next morning and let's explore Palma and West Mallorca. Now that is a view that you want to wake up to. Good morning, the night is over, the sun is rising. I'm not actually seeing the real sunrise, unfortunately. The real sunrise is a little to my left, however, that's not a problem. I gotta say the night got a little cool towards the morning, so I had to use my blanket, I had to put on this jacket, and even then it was still not pleasantly warm, but I guess that's fine for a couple of days. Sunday's gonna get a little colder even, the weather's gonna get worse, so I'm thinking about probably maybe getting a hostel or something to spend the night at least on Sunday. But until then, we're gonna sleep in the car. We're gonna be fine. I'll show you the place where I stayed at. Basically, like I said, we're in the big nothingness of Mallorca. Actually, another car came in here at 11:30. But yeah, that was the night. Now it's time to get to Palma, get some breakfast, get the day going, visit the cathedral, explore Palma a bit, and then visit Valdemosa and maybe also Dea. So let's go. Alright, now after a while of searching, I actually found a free parking space here right in Palma at the port. It took me a while to realize that this was free, so I drove around in the city needlessly. Don't try that. Everything's full even though it's just April, so I wouldn't recommend driving around in the city. Make sure you either get into a parking house or get to this parking spot. I'll probably link it or just show you a screenshot of Google Maps here. But basically, it's quite a lot of parking spaces. Should be completely free, as it's not, the lines aren't blue. And I really didn't expect to find a parking space here because I thought everything that's free would be already slam packed with cars. However, this one, even now, still has a couple of free spots. So if you come to Palma, I think there's a nice place to stop at the main street right next to the port and the sea. So now let's get some coffee. Okay, so I've made it Bagan Cafe now. I've got a coffee. I've got a huge pain au chocolat, which I'm gonna enjoy now. Meanwhile, I'm gonna start walking to the cathedral. Right next to Bagan Cafe, actually is another one, San Cristo, something like that. They have even more pastries. So if you come here, you can choose either one of them and enjoy your coffee, enjoy your pastries. I'm not gonna take a long walk to the cathedral because I'm not gonna try and find parking there. So see you when I get there. And what I forgot to tell you was the price I paid. So it was €7 for both things. I think that's quite okay. I mean, we're in Mallorca. We are right next to the main road here. So I think €7 for a coffee and a pastry is pretty much the standard. Probably could be a bit cheaper, but it's not that outrageous. See you at the cathedral. That's where we are headed. Alright, so we're at the cathedral now, and this thing looks so impressive, so incredible, beautiful. There's a small kind of pond, or whatever you call this water out here. It looks so nice. There's a small kind of alleyway here with a couple of small and thin trees. I'm sure this looks great in summer. So now it's time to get in there. I think the entrance is €10. I'll make sure to find where I can buy it, and I'll see you again when I'm inside the walls. So I got a ticket at an info point, which was basically just left of where I was standing at the video previously. The entrance is €11, and it actually was a skip the line ticket, which means there is two entrances, a skip the line one and a normal one. The skip the line one, where you go when you buy a ticket at the info place, is on the right side of the cathedral. Now, inside the cathedral, that place looks pretty impressive. However, I have to say, if I'm completely honest, that this is not exactly my preferred style of churches and all that. To me, it's a little bit too much. It wasn't really that incredible, so I'm not sure it really was worth €11. But definitely a cool place to see and a must see when you are in Mallorca. So I wouldn't say I regret it at all. Alright, now after a short stop in my car to put away my jacket, I actually proceeded to Pueblo Español, something like that, which is an old Spanish town that you can visit and you can apparently enter the buildings. Actually, the barista at Bagan Cafe told me about this because I asked him what else except the cathedral there's to see in Palma. And basically he said not that much except this and another castle, which I might look at, might not. I'll have to decide later on. But for now, let's try and find an entrance to this cool place. And overall, what I also have to say is that I think this is one of the best ways to go about finding spots to look at, is asking locals because they know best. So ask a barista, ask a waiter at the restaurant. If they live there, they're probably gonna know what's cool to look at and what's just a tourist trap. Let's get in. Alright, so after quite a tricky drive, we've arrived to Valdemosa. And I have to say, this place is beautiful. I know you can't see just that much just yet. However, once you see the view, I hope you can get a good view of it as I've gotten in the car. It's just breathtaking. It's incredible. It's like an old town in the hills. The drive was, like I said, quite tricky, very windy roads. But the hills are beautiful and the city is even more beautiful. But before exploring all that, I'm now gonna go get something to eat, some pasta. I've already picked out a restaurant, so I'll see you when I get the food. Then I'm gonna tell you how it was, and after that, you can stay tuned for Valdemosa. Now this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is so incredible. The hill, the city. I mean, just on the way here, I got lost 4 times. Well, not lost, but I just entered a couple of streets because they looked so beautiful. I couldn't resist. Couldn't do anything other than just check it out, make a couple of pictures, shoot a couple of short videos. But this is absolutely incredible. When leaving, I'll try to get to another viewpoint, which is somewhere down there with the car, because I currently can't get there by foot, because I'd have to walk over the streets, which I'm not gonna do. But for now, I'll stay in Valdemosa for a little bit longer, try and explore, and I guess I'll just show you a little bit of Valdemosa Aesthetic Bureau right now. Let's go. Okay, so after Valdemosa, we proceed to Deje. And this was another wild drive through the mountains. But it was absolutely worth it because this place, once again, looks incredible. It looks wild. I am currently walking there because I only found a parking spot a little further away. Once again, because there's not too many parking spots. Most of them are all already being used. But this place is just incredible. The hills all around you, beautiful trees, the sea is there, and actually, wait a moment, I came across that hill all the way around Deje and back here to find a parking. So I've walked through the streets of Deje for a while now, and I have to say, it's incredibly beautiful. It doesn't look like it's a big place, and it really isn't, but every building looks so good. Like every turn you make, every couple of steps you turn around, and you're like, this is the perfect picture. This looks so incredible, so good. So that's why even a small place like this can take up quite a while to explore. But I think I've pretty much seen everything, so I'm gonna continue to the coast so that I can catch the sunset. After leaving Deje, I have now reached Soye, where I'm gonna go to the gym and hit a quick session. I've actually brought 2 German hitchhikers here who were waiting for a bus in DA for about 2 hours, and well, it didn't come. So they asked me to take them with me to Soye. I did that. So in case you see this, greetings. Let's get a gym session in. Look what I found. Monster Rehab Peach. Now, this is something I used to love. I used to drink back home in Austria. But a couple years ago, it just stopped existing. I couldn't find it anywhere. But here in Spain, I found it. Let's see if it's still the same. If it's still as good as it used to be. Hopefully, don't drop it. Yep, that's what I was looking for. If you're here, or if you have this at home, try it out. It tastes absolutely incredible. It's one of the few monsters that actually doesn't have any bubbles. Well, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it otherwise in English currently. It has no bubbles. It's just basically like an iced tea, but with caffeine, and it just tastes great. So, perfect pre-workout. The lift is done. I've been to Gymnopolis Soye, which is a true old school gym. Not a lot of space, quite old equipment. However, you've basically got everything you need. I'm guessing that anyone who's gonna go to the gym for a lift on vacation is probably a gym bro or someone who's really into fitness and bodybuilding. In that case, it's probably not gonna matter that much to you whether you have the perfect equipment, and you can basically get your lift in with anything, even if it's just dumbbells and a barbell. But trust me, you've got basically all the equipment you need. I've paid 13 euros for the entrance. Now, actually, this Gymnopolis gym, the old school gym, wasn't my first intention. I wanted to go to a different gym in Soye. However, I had a small kind of, let's say, incident. I was in front of the gym, I'm standing there, and I had my open monster in my hand, which I just showed you. So I wanted to finish that, drink that up before I enter. I did that, and while I was drinking, I saw a girl enter before me. And the thing is, I heard that the entrance door basically slammed open. I heard a loud noise, so I assumed the door opens with a lot of force. So when I tried to get in, I obviously went to the door and tried to open it a couple times, and well, it didn't work. And then an employee came out, opened the door, and he's like, "You have to download the app." And yeah, there was a piece of paper on the door that said in Spanish and Portuguese that you have to download the app to get entrance. So I'm like, sorry, I just need a day pass. He's like, yeah, you, yeah, you still need to buy that in the app. I said, sorry again. And then he said, you have to buy that thing in the app. Do not knock on the door. We don't like that. And I was like, all right, well, I don't like being talked to disrespectfully after I've apologized twice. So basically, I left, went to Gymnopolis, and had a great lift anyway, an upper body session if anyone cares. So now it's time to get to Port de Soyer to hopefully catch the sunset and have a nice evening and a nice dinner. So let's get to Port de Soyer. Alright, so I reached the spot that I picked out that I was going for, and honestly, the drive up here once again was a true pain in the ass. Really winding roads, quite narrow, so if there's any upcoming traffic, one of you has to reverse down, but thankfully I never had that problem. The only problem is I missed the sunset by probably like 10 minutes or so. I mean, the sky is still beautifully orange, and I still think it was worth it, especially for this view. But it's just a shame that I didn't get to see the true sunset. However, tomorrow's the day too, so I hope we'll get it next time. But for now, I'm gonna head back to the car, maybe try and get a couple more shots of the beautiful view up here on the hill. And then I'm gonna go get something to eat in Porto Soyer. So I'll probably see you again at the restaurant when I've got my food. Or maybe I'll find something interesting before that. You'll find out. Alright, well, actually, I'm back already because I just realized that I didn't actually miss the sunset. It was just a little bit too cloudy to see the sun itself, but it is there behind the clouds, looking beautiful. So I'll wait here at the spot a little longer with this little boat here. You can see it here. Maybe the clouds are gonna lift and show me the true beauty of our beautiful sun. Now, after this dinner, the day is coming to an end. Unfortunately, I forgot to take a picture or a video of the menu. However, in the past couple of restaurant visits that I had, pretty much what I can say is if you come into Mallorca, you should be counting with at least 20 euros per person for a meal and a drink. Probably gonna be more around 22, 23 euros. For the chicken with the water, I paid 18.40. So the chicken was 15.50, I know that. And the water then was 2.90. So I think that's absolutely fine. It's slightly more than in some other places. In some other places, you may get a main course for like 12, 13 euros. Here in Mallorca, I'd say they're usually around 15, more like 18 to 20 for the meal, and then 2, 3, 4 euros for the beverage. I usually just drink a water. The Coca-Colas and stuff like that is probably a little more expensive, and you also get a smaller bottle. Water is usually 0.5 and cola is usually 0.3. So overall, I always go for the water. But that's it for the food. Today I'm actually trying out something different than yesterday. I'm actually gonna try and sleep in the back of the car with the seats bent down. Let's see how that works. It's probably not gonna be too comfortable. However, it might give me a little more privacy if I put that blanket over the seats and the back of the car, which has like a small kind of blend anyway, to so that people can look in the back of your car. So basically, people won't really be able to see me unless they look through the back window, which is a little bit of nice extra privacy. So if I can fall asleep back there, it's probably gonna be better for me. So that's it for today. Full price breakdown is gonna follow tomorrow morning. So now I'm gonna start cutting the video and go to sleep. And tomorrow we are going to northeast Mallorca. Well, good morning. Another night in the car has passed. A new day has come. I've actually slept in the back of the car quite alright, quite comfortably. It was nice to actually be able to straighten out my legs and all the privacy parts. The blanket stayed up there covering me for a while until I had to use it to warm myself up towards the morning because it got quite cold once again. But other than that, it was quite fine. I have actually now proceeded to Alcudia in the northeast side of the island, which I'm now gonna explore. But first, I'm gonna get a coffee and something to eat, a small breakfast. So I'll see you there when I get my breakfast and my coffee. But before I go ahead and do that, I actually still owe you the price breakdown for yesterday. So we're starting off with the food and beverages. I've spent 7 euros on breakfast, which was the coffee and the pain au chocolat. I spent 22 euros on lunch, which was the bolognese noodles. And I've spent 18 euros 40 on my dinner. Then I've also spent 5.80 on the beverages and the snack I bought in the supermarket, if you want to count that. So that would be it for the food part. Then I've also spent 11 euros on the entrance to the cathedral. It was 11, not 10. 12 euros for the Puebla Español, which was the small old town, and 13 euros for the gym entrance for the day pass, which obviously most people aren't even going to use. So that brings us to a total of 84 euros basically. If we take away the gym, that's 70 euros overall, around 80 euros for the day, including the gym, including two entrances, three meals, and a couple of extra beverages. I got breakfast at Mallorca Alcuria, which is a very nice, cozy little cafe with a lot of food to choose from. I actually had a matcha and a cinnamon roll plus a crumble cake. All of it was really good, very nice. I can definitely recommend the place. Very nice French owner, really cool people. And then we proceed to Alcuria itself, which, don't get me wrong, Alcuria is a nice place. It's a pretty city, but it doesn't have as much to offer, in my opinion, as Valdemosa or Dea, for example, because it's basically just quote unquote another one of these Mallorcan cities with this Mallorcan or Spanish Mediterranean architecture, but it doesn't have so much to offer as in some places have the sea, Valdemosa and Dea had the mountains, and Alcuria really just has the city and the city walls around it. So not really that much interesting to see. You can walk on the walls, which is quite cool. And something that I found quite interesting is that the doors in Alcuria, most of them are really tall and wide doors for some reason. But overall, definitely a cool place, but not so much worth a visit in my opinion, as for example Valdemosa or Dea. Now after Alcuria, I have now come to Pollensa. Once again, I found a free parking space. Here I'm gonna get some lunch. I'm gonna walk around the city a little, try to explore, try to see what I can find, what I can see, and I'll show you either some b-rolls or the food I got. So let's go. Now at Restaurant Spira, I had some broccoli gnocchi with water. It was really good. The portion wasn't too huge though, but I can definitely recommend that restaurant, no problem. And I also got the menu with the prices for you right here. When I was going to the restaurant, I actually saw a small kind of cafe/pastry shop, which had really good looking cookies. So I got one of those, and I've also got a pistachio one, or I think two. I basically asked for one. I think she gave me two. That would explain why I paid more than I thought that I was gonna pay. But that's fine. Got three cookies overall. Let's taste this one. Nice chocolate chip cookie. Very good. I'm gonna finish this one, and I'll be back with the pistachio ones. Well, now I know why I paid more than I thought I was gonna pay. I basically wanted a pistachio biscuit, which was just two pieces of basic cookie dough with some pistachio paste, but instead I got a pistachio cake type of thing, which was more expensive. But let's see how this tastes. Not bad. Not exactly the thing I wanted, but still tastes good. It's pretty much a chocolate filling. I think there's some caramel in the middle. Tastes quite nice. We're still in Pollensa, and now, after eating and drinking almost a full bottle of water, I am walking up these stairs here. to get to some kind of small, I don't know what you call that, like maybe a church, something like that. And just down there in the beginning, the steps were so strange because imagine it's like really small stairs, like only a small incline, but they're really, really long stairs. So taking one at a time feels strange because they're so low. But taking two at a time requires huge steps. So either way, it just felt wrong walking up these stairs. But now it's like gotten a little better. I'm almost there. I have to say I love these trees surrounding the stairs. Really looks super beautiful. So let's get up there. Only a couple of steps before reaching that small building, I took a right turn to get this beautiful view on camera and to see it for myself. Here you can see basically the whole city. Back there is the sea. If I'm not mistaken, Cap de Formentor should be somewhere around there, or at least in that direction, I think. And that would be our next destination for today, Cap de Formentor, which is quite a well-known site on Mallorca. 40 to 50 minute drive, very windy roads. So, I mean, they say that they are really windy roads and it's hard getting up there. The roads on Mallorca so far have all been quite windy and tricky, so I don't want to know how bad those are gonna be. But I guess we'll see. It'll be a surprise for me. But first, I'm gonna get to that building up there. Just a couple more steps, I'm gonna show it to you. And then I'm probably gonna proceed to Cap de Formentor, unless I find something else interesting. So it's a small little pretty church that actually has a small cafe right next to it. And if you're wondering, these are the stairs that you have to walk up. It's quite a bit, but it's not that horrible. And in my opinion, it's pretty much worth it for the church and especially for the view. The view from up here is beautiful. You can see the whole city, you can see the sea. I just love it. Alright, so I think that pretty much was Valencia for me. Now I'm gonna proceed to the car and I'm gonna try and get to Cap de Formentor. We are at Far de Formentor. We've made it. The drive was basically a longer version of the roads around Valdemosa and Dea. Maybe a little bit harder because it was slightly tighter. There was a couple more cyclists, but it wasn't that horrible. I made it. Thankfully, no accidents, no nothing. But enough talk about the drive. Let me show you the place. So up there we have the light tower, and all around us the view is just incredible. We have the sea, we have a huge mountain, and back here, once again, nothing but the sea. I don't think it looks as impressive on camera as it looks in real life, but this is just incredibly wild. A couple of boats down there. I love it up here. The drive is absolutely worth it, in my opinion. There's a cafe up there at the light tower. Wait, the sun is in my face right now. There's a cafe up there, but I don't think I recommend going there unless you have to just go to the toilet because the prices are wild. There's some food, some pizza, there's ice cream. Look, the food has no price tags, and one ice cream costs €4.90. That's the only thing I've found a price tag for. I've heard a German tourist say, "Well, this is the €5 Coca-Cola, so let's enjoy it." So a small can of Coca-Cola is gonna cost you probably full 90, full 50, €5, something like that. So if you don't have to, don't buy anything at that cafe. But definitely would recommend coming up here if you are an experienced driver. If you're not an, well, how do I say this, insecure driver. Um, insecure doesn't sound right, but I think you know what I mean. If you're not confident with yourself, I don't think you should be coming up here. I don't think you should be really driving around on Mallorca overall if you are a fresh driver or someone who doesn't like tricky roads, stuff like that, because Mallorca is full of it. The area around Valdemosa, they are, is beautiful, but once again, super windy roads, a lot of cyclists, and it's April, so it might be even worse in May, June, July, and August in the main season, and especially this place here. I don't know. Maybe I've become hardened a bit to the roads in Mallorca, and that's why I don't find it that horrible. But yeah, it definitely is quite a tricky drive. So if you want to come up here, you should definitely be an experienced driver. To be honest, this was everything that I had planned for today. Basically, all I've got left to do now is to find a place to take a shower, which might be quite the challenge. But I think I might have found something where I can at least shower at the beach, at a smaller beach, because I could have theoretically showered at Alcunia Beach. They have like public showers. The only problem is where am I gonna put my car keys, my phone, all of that. I don't really have a proper zip bag that's water resistant, and I'm not gonna risk leaving it somewhere obviously because it's gonna get stolen like that. So that wasn't really an option. But maybe if I get to that smaller beach, I don't remember their name right now, and there's no one there, just one or two people, I can put my things down for a couple of seconds, have my eyes on them while showering, and I should be fine. After that, probably I'm just gonna start cutting the video. Obviously, I'm gonna eat dinner, which I'm gonna show you. I don't know where exactly yet, but we're gonna find out soon enough. Well, unfortunately, the place I planned to go to take a shower didn't actually have a shower. They, I guess, deinstalled it. It said to save water. But a huge shout out to the gym Nata Conera, or the sports club Nata Conera, who let me take a shower for free. Super kind people. If you're here, if you want to play tennis or get a workout in, definitely check them out. I'll link them down below in the description so you know what I'm talking about. Super nice people. Let me take a shower for free. Didn't even want to take the money when I gave her €2, but I gave it to her anyway for being so kind, and I probably would have paid a lot more anywhere else. So yeah, just wanted to say that Sports Club Nata Conera is definitely worth a visit. And now it's time to go and get some dinner. But not before I show you this nice sea view where I stopped up with my car to record this short video. We are back in the car after eating at restaurant Gusto at Cala Ratiada. And guys, these gnocchi with chicken were so good. Incredibly well made. Original Italian kitchen. The waiter is Italian. The chef is Italian. Wonderful food. Nice way to So if you ever come here to Cala, definitely give Restaurant Gusto a visit. It's beautiful. The aesthetics, the ambience is just so calm. It's right next to the sea, and it has basically the same prices as everywhere else that I've been to so far. So the gnocchi themselves were 16.50. The half liter of water was 3.50. But I photographed the whole menu for you, so I'll show it to you right now. But yeah, basically that's gonna be it for the day. I'm gonna start cutting the video, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. And tomorrow it's gonna be the southeastern coast of Mallorca. But that you're gonna see in part 2 of this video, coming out 3 days from now. So if you want to see part 2 of the Mallorca trip and also many other travels, definitely subscribe to the channel. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and then see you in the next one.